Good to see you. What time you got?
6:30 now.
Let's get started.
Yeah, Patricia wanted me to get this thing for her, so let me run and get this. Well, if they ain't get out here till 6, there's nothing I can do about that.
What do you need to get her?
That plastic divider.
Yeah, get the back to the body. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, how are you? So soon as Justin comes in, we'll get started. We're on time. You want this up, don't you? Put it up. Once you put it up, we'll get started.
You actually got some new, you actually got some additional stick guards for you. Together.
So what, Mayor?
Stick guards.
Okay, that's what these are?
Yes.
Oh, I would call them plastic things.
Yeah.
This big guard.
Stick guards.
Okay.
Yeah, where you want the other one?
Okay, so we're gonna get started. Come on. Maybe, once we get started, you're gonna get the other one for me.
She wants one in front of me. So I got
Oh,
it
she
right here.
does. Oh,
Yeah.
put it up. Put two of them in front of me. Right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, today is March 1st, the first day of March. This is the regular council meeting. Mr. Clerk,
Oh, yeah,
you
it
ready?
is 6. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, meeting's called to order. It's about what,
6:34.
6:34, okay,
Okay, I'll call the roll.
yes.
Counselor Blahoviak, Counselor Stevenson, Counselor Gowdy, Counselor Smith, and Counselor Martin.
Present.
Remarks of the public on agenda items for 2 minutes.
Anyone from the public, any remarks on the agenda item? Going once?
What's on it?
Well, give them a copy. Going twice? Okay, take a look, Mr. Holmes.
Huh?
You looking at it?
Yeah,
Okay.
why didn't you?
It's always back there, Mr. Holmes. Always back there. I'm going to wait. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Remarks of the public on the agenda item we got there. We report from the annual, reports announced from Mayor Brandon King. Go ahead, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman
Okay,
Martin, Council President. As always, I try to start off with a brief on COVID pandemic. According to the Ohio CDC, the county is somewhat letting up, we should be vigilant. I would still like to encourage all of you to get vaccinated and get the booster. Encourage those who know law to do the same. Remind you that our Walgreens, a local drugstore, is doing vaccinations and boosters. One of the things that we learned to deal with here in Northeast Ohio over the years, particularly this time of year, is potholes. East Cleveland has always had our share of potholes. By most account, people will tell you over the last 2 or 3 years, we've had fairly mild winter seasons. The potholes were a lot more manageable and more friendly. That's a mild way of saying it. I was actually on a webinar over the weekend with the Department of Transportation, with some of the industry experts, and they outlined why throughout Northeast Ohio we had such a heavy burden with potholes this year. And as many of you know, we went from 50-degree days to the next day thunderstorms. That freeze thaw is what has caused potholes of the magnitude that you see. Not only have potholes, but a shortage of the material to then fix the potholes. So the production facilities sold out, backed up on production. We were actually able to pick up coal patch and other aggregates today. So they began filling, we picked up where they left off on Superior from last week and began to address some of the bus beds. Trust me, I know about the bus beds. I almost got knocked out of the car on one of the bus beds. I would ask residents to please be mindful of the potholes, stay away from the bus beds, drive slow, and take your time. Be patient as we run around the city patching potholes. I'd like to remind you, slated for resurfacing this year, Superior Avenue from Euclid Avenue up into the Cleveland Heights border. That should be getting started this spring. Also to be resurfaced, the sections of Shaw coming off of 8, Ivanhoe, sections of Forest Hill Avenue, Brewster, Third, Northville, and I'm hoping that we can get the necessary legislation and material ordered so that we can fix that part of Euclid that was not fixed, and we can get Euclid situated. But we know it's still an issue at Euclid and Chapman. Other legislation, emergency legislation, which we dealt with, the pedestrian crosswalks. So thank council for passing that. By the time they went to order some of the materials, I'm being told now that they have to push the start date back with the pedestrian crosswalks because of the delay in ordering some of the materials for that. Caterpillar equipment. We have been working on the master lease to get the 4 vehicles. I know that you passed legislation to purchase it. However, there is a financial reason to lease it. More on that later. We have put in front of you, I hope it's on the agenda tonight, the grant in the AARP. This is something that we have been working on since last summer. And that is a sports outdoor recreation up on Superior at that park. And it just so happens that over the weekend, ARP put out a request for grants for funding. So we're hoping to submit this grant, and to do so, we need legislation. And then we'll send it over, so hoping it's on. I also forgot Savannah and Orinoco water line replacements and street resurfacing. That is for this year as well. As you can see, I'm glad we were able to get in here. The rehab is going on, right? I hope no one is on Zoom listening. You can see the TVs in the back. Those are pretty big TVs. This place will be state of the art. As you can see, the TVs will be up on the wall. You have your new podium. Pretty color to this wood, to this furniture, right? I'm hoping to revisit the conversation with the new court and the new council furniture to complement the audio visual that's going in here. AARP, so stimulus checks have gone out. I think most seniors at this point have received it. There were some glitches with some of the management verifying residency, but that's taken care of at this point. The homeowner grant is underway, ramping up speed as we now are approaching spring. A lot of the rehab projects that were awarded, that were vetted by our employees will be taking place. I'm still asking if anyone has contractors to contact building and housing, as we are still looking for contractors for our residents. We have contractors, there simply aren't enough contractors to satisfy roughly 1,000 homeowner rents. Last night, we had a very good meeting, a stakeholder meeting over at the Omega Baptist Church. I'd like to thank Pastor Finney, other pastors, and Cleveland Concerned pastors for progress, for having this meeting to discuss what we can do to better work together as stakeholders here in the great city of East Cleveland, as we continue rebuilding East Cleveland together, moving the city forward. I would like to thank Council President Martin, as he spoke quite well yesterday, him being council president, and his thrust to keep pushing this city forward, to bring legislation that was misplaced, if you will, in council's office, bringing it forward so that we may move it forward to increase the quality of life for our residents. I'm looking forward to doing that. I will keep doing my part in that regard. Council President, that concludes my report, unless there's any questions or concerns thereof.
No, I just want to say that if we read our emails, people have been concerned about security. So we're going to get that done in the next few months. That's a positive. Yesterday, when a couple of council people were there, not just me, the stakeholders meeting, and they encouraging us to work together, move the city forward. And they suggested that if we have disagreements and that kind of thing, that we deal with our disagreements internally, not in front of the media. It was a good spirit there, and they're reaching out to us that we work together. I felt real good about the meeting.
Okay, that's not it.
Mr. Burke, let's move to, are there any proclamations?
No.
We don't often talk about meetings.
No, I don't see it on here. Maybe they left it off.
Reports from
Yeah,
what?
reports of council meetings.
That's next after
We have
proclamation. So that's after Dr. Zahovi, yeah.
Okay. Any proclamations?
No.
Okay, now reports of council committee. Let's start with Kareem Stevens.
I don't have any short, I don't have any finance stuff, what I got from the report on, so I don't have any.
Okay. Dr. Patricia Blowett.
Yes,
Okay.
Mr. Smith and I met as the General Service and Administration Committee on Thursday, as you're aware, you weren't there. And we have been talking with the mayor on a regular basis about the streets
Okay.
and trying to get a coordinated plan to discuss the potholes, the resurfacing, and the water infrastructure. Now, we did get an email from Keisha Chambers about the water infrastructure, and she explained to me, which I had not known, that we had a problem with our finances with the Cleveland Water, and that for the last 10 years we've been having concerns. They have concerns because of the way that we have been doing it. So we've been paying them back, and we are still continuing to pay them back. And that's part of the reason why we are finally now getting to deal with,
You gotta speak up.
we're trying to deal with something that, that's been an issue for 10 years. That we got the money allotted 10 years ago, but they didn't, because of problems that we had in the way we were doing their money. So that's an improvement that we're finally getting to deal with this money. And I have asked that she give us several dates so that we can have her come and discuss the rest of the issue. And again, I would like to discuss this in a coordinated manner. I also contacted the local coordinator, regional coordinator of this, and have and anticipate meeting with the 5 people in Columbus to get more of the details about their perception of our plan and how that relates to it.
Thank you, Ms. Bowe. Councilman Ernest Smith?
Thank you, Mr. President. Personnel appointments had a very awesome joint meeting with health and safety, and I know you've been working on some things for a while, so I will allow you, but I know you want to get most of the other report, but I want to say thank you to Captain Lundy. You know, we again, it was a joint report, but we went over some things with our police force. And, yeah, I know you've been working on it, so.
Thank you, Brother Smith. Thank you very much. Anita Gowdy?
Contract and property with me, we doing sign lots. And we hope that the residents will be present when they get ready to purchase or try to get the lots, so we'll know that, you know, that it will be successful for them to do what they gotta do. Not everyone to do on their garages and stuff like that, that we would like to see. So it was a successful.
Thank you. And I'll be very brief with the health and safety. We had an incident that happened about maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, with our police officer. And they met with us immediately. We didn't put it off. Brother Smith, where I was there, and the situation is being investigated. You're going to keep us updated. What happens? It was an unfortunate situation, and the police officer has rights. So it's a process. Most of government is about processing procedure. We got to follow the process, so that's being worked out. We was asked of them to inform us once that section of the process goes, and then they have a meeting about whatever they're going to do, whether they discipline or whatever the case will be. I insisted they keep us informed. Also, Captain Lundy was here, like Councilman Smith said, and we said our next meeting coming up this month, we're going to have Chief Gardner, because the council wanted to be here, and I think we can get that done there. We have it at the next meeting. But right now, we're going through the process of his rights, and then once we go through that process, then it's up to the police and the mayor and them to decide whether outcome we're going to give in terms of the situation. I got the call that night, and I came up here, and thank you, Mayor. They met with me immediately. We were up here and we went back and forth about this, and that it's unacceptable, whatever the case may be. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so we don't want to break any rules or violate anything. We want everybody's rights to be acknowledged. Okay, so that concludes. Thank you for thank you for coming at the last minute. Thank you. Okay.
That AARP legislation, we do have it, but I don't know if y'all want to walk it on or not for the grant. But
I think they
it's
need to probably read it.
not on the agenda, so.
Not on the agenda, so.
But you can walk it on if you want, or
Okay, well, what I with the help of Mayor King, I asked him to make sure that Charles is here. We're gonna get to that part in this legislation. And Mel Ron to talk about the 1-year action plan, because there was a lot of emails concerning around that. Yes, go ahead.
So, President,
Yeah,
I have to check the email. I want to say that the AARP email request for proposal came out Saturday,
okay.
and you have to respond by the 22nd of this month. So we did 2 reads at 2 weeks apart.
Mhm.
That's why I asked Willa, Willa on vacation,
Okay,
responded, and sent it back down to you. And again, it's just to apply.
so what do you suggest that this body needs to do?
I would like council to walk it off from the floor, that the.
This AA part,
The AARP is just to apply, just to allow OHM, you should change it, to apply for this grant.
my council people, you feel comfortable with that?
I
Corrine?
have not seen it, so.
Do you want me to go get some copies of it, maybe?
Yes,
Y'all
yes.
got about 2-3 minutes. Okay. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Okay. We don't want to delay nothing. You know, we're finding out that when we delay because of supplies and I was listening today about trucking situation where people bring stuff in, all that is a kind of disarray right now in America. So we don't want to delay nothing. We've a few more minutes and we can. Okay. And while we're waiting on I'll wait till this back. Because we got, if you look at this, most of this is neighbor next door, that's $100. For them, and most of the people we spoke with said that they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that. And we hopefully we're gonna have them on 15. We're giving them these lots for $100, they can just show. And I've said, if I have to do another reminder, we'll do that. But most of the legislation here is neighbor next door. And a lot of the people said that they would do this and doing that. We got about almost 13 pieces, I think. Okay. So we'll just wait for, yes,
I can try to answer the questions on the AARP.
yeah. I'm opening up the body of council. Any questions? Yes, control that.
One of the concerns that we had in the past is that we've had empty grant proposals with no details. If we were to go through a first read on it today, would you have the actual grant proposal when you come back?
First of all, you're out of order. You can't discuss
Well,
something.
you're
that's
not
proposed.
recognized. You're not recognized. Somebody how you put out.
Well,
You're not
you
recognized.
can put out-
So don't do that anymore. You know better than that, O'Mays.
well, you can
Go ahead.
recognize
If you're not recognized, you can't just spout out like that. Go ahead.
something.
You can't do that. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
he is technically correct. The only
Yeah,
reason
but he has
that
been
I-
recognized. Go ahead.
Yeah, the only reason I went out of order is because we're waiting for the paper. And other than that, I agree with him.
And when we get the information, we've got 2 weeks. You can read it. If you have questions, you can call the people you can get questions to. But I'd rather for you to get it now so that we can do what we have to do. Right. Right.
Somebody will answer the question.
What was your question, Dr. Blue?
A lot of the times, the council has received a blank piece of paper that says that they're going to fill out a grant proposal and has not received the grant proposal. What I would like to see is that if we're going to do a first reading without that we have an agreement that at the time of the second reading, we have the actual grant proposal and not just something that says that they're putting out a request for proposal.
Mayor, you want to respond to that, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, I know that council, that you new council, right? And the name council, we've been through this a number of times. And I don't mind having to say this and then having to repeat it at a later date. So the way grants work, by and large, a large part of the grants that we apply for are blanks when they come to you, right? The RFQ came out Saturday, so it's just a blank document. Hey, we're gonna fund A, B, C, D, and E. So now us to apply for it, our application will read something in regards to a facility that's gonna be at the superior part of the field, right? In which seniors, right, because AARP, so we're gonna have to fill in the grant as they're looking for to fund the senior activity outdoor, right? So you're looking at basketball, tennis, pickle, racquetball, which are things that seniors do, small groups and then big groups. One of the things I didn't know is that pickleball is big with seniors right now. They're actually having senior tournaments playing pickleball.
I have friends who play this.
Yes, so when the grant is finished, it will be around senior activities as prescribed by the grant application, right? Will we have enough time truthfully to have that to you by the 15th? I'm gonna say I doubt it, because our consultant OHM is working on it, right? Now, what happens is all you're doing is saying, yes, you can apply. If we are awarded, it comes back to you. And by that time, you can have the finished document as to what was submitted and what was awarded. And then it's up to council to say, yes, we'll accept this grant. Or no, we won't accept this grant. But to be honest with you, in my opinion, I don't think we'll have a finished product by your second council meeting to give to you, to look at. But if you look at the grant application itself, you'll have a great idea as to what we'll be saying in the grant.
President.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, you may not be aware that I have written and received grants. So the process of filling out grant requests is not new to me. I've done it for myself, I've done it for other people as a favor. So I am very aware of how grant proposals work. But Mr. Mayor, you're acting as if I am because I'm the new kid on the block, I don't know how things work. But one thing you're forgetting is that I have been sitting in this very room while other counselors who preceded me, and may or may not be here at the moment, have had the same concerns that I'm expressing now. That people have been concerned that we never hear anything else, or that what's being requested is not clear or whatever, and that people have not seen the grant proposal ever because the person writing the grant had forgotten to take a screenshot and it was just disappeared into cyberspace. So I think you're not being clear on what the actual issue is.
I take exception to that, and I'll reiterate, the way grants work through a municipality, because I've written grants my whole life as well, right? But the way they work from the government is you have to pass legislation to apply for the grant. That's why we're here, to pass the legislation to allow her to apply. If we are successfully awarded, legislation then has to be passed accepting the grant, right? Now, before you accept it, you can get any document you so desire, and all the documents have been provided before a grant is accepted. I've been on council, and I've gotten those documents, right? So that's just how grants work from a municipal standpoint. And I didn't mean to say like you didn't know how to do grants. So pardon me for that.
Dr. Blomoviak, has he answered your question?
As well as I think he's going to. wishes as well as he often.
Corinne Stevens.
Well, my concern is this, we've all done grants from a business standpoint. And we all know that grant can't be written overnight, but stay up all night and do it. We've all probably done something like that. But in the meantime, in between time, concept, one page telling us what it is you're gonna do with this money, a concept paper, can be submitted in lieu of a full grant. We don't even get that. So that's what we're asking for. We need some kind of document that tells us what you're gonna do with the money. It's plain and simple. It's not a lot of hogwash. It doesn't require that you write the full grant. It's just one page. Tell us what you're gonna do, how much money you're gonna apply for, and who's gonna provide the service. It's very simple. And to sit here and state this from the administration time and time again, we still end up in the same place with a blank document. And after the blank document is submitted, we still have to come back and ask for the document again. We just went through that with the grant that we worked on last month. So I would ask that policy and procedure be written on these issues so that everybody is on the same page and they stop changing from meeting to meeting, that we get on some kind of familiar territory, that we become familiar as a group and not as individuals. It is not our job to sit here, we are part-time. It's not our job to sit here and try to remember what went on to what blank document when. That's not our job. And if the administration wants to, look, my career was spent managing grants, okay? So if this is what you all want to do is write grants, then we need to write the policy and procedure that this administration will follow and that this council will follow to submit the grants and be done with.
Well,
Thank
Ms. Stevenson said that a one-page document
Concept.
telling what's going on.
Concept.
I'm gonna reach out to her. Can that be done in the next 2 weeks? Our next meeting is March 15th, is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, but it looks like from reading this, it says it's supposed to be in by the 22nd. There is a document here that says, I think it's for the Superior Hill basketball court. That's what this grant, it looks like it's gonna
But
be.
what
for.
I'm trying to do is get Kareem's statement and Dr. Rohovet's statement in terms of, I think if we can get the one page just telling what's going on, we can move on. Can we get that, maybe?
Council President,
Yeah.
so we've been at this now for about 7, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there anyone in here who does not know what we're gonna be a part of? Now you're asking me to put it in a one pager, then you're asking for a cartwheel. We are applying for a grant to fund a basketball court, pickleball, tennis, racquetball up Superior, to fund the installation of it. And you want a one pager on it. Fine, I'll give you a one pager, then you ask me to do a cartwheel. Let's put
Well, let's
but you
stop.
know what I'm applying for.
Yeah, but to hold it right there. We have to move forward. Okay, and I'm asking as the president of this body. It look like we feel comfortable with this one page, if. You can have- Yes,
As the council president,
and
I will
make sure I
give
get
you
it,
a one pager,
which,
which say where the money's going, what it's gonna be used for.
okay,
That's what we have so far.
thank you, and Justin, make sure all the council people get it, get
Okay,
a hard copy and email.
so are you walking this 20-22 on today?
No,
No, okay.
If it's not passed by the
We-
22nd,
we
we can't
don't-
apply.
we should be passed, I'm hoping it's passed March 15th, that next meeting. That's 6 days before, what is it?
That'll be as an emergency vote.
Right, because that's what we have to do.
And like,
Okay.
you understand, grant money is money.
Yeah,
Money
it's,
is
it's free money.
resources that we need. Right?
Okay, so please do that. If we don't make progress here, we back and forth, we ain't never get anything done.
That's why we probably.
Okay, so are we in agreement? I'm asking everybody on here. If we get this one page thing, can we move forward? Then we'll know. if you have, this is the thing why we got a couple weeks. If they're uncertain about something, you got questions, they can call you.
Yes.
Okay, and hopefully the questions are asked by the 15th. Okay? Is that okay with everyone?
We want the amount. We want
Speak
what-
up, Ms. Blowback,
We
speak up.
want the amount.
You want the amount?
We want what will be done. And final.
That's not much.
Yeah. Doesn't mean
So-
it has
so-
to be a
so-
full page.
Let's taper that back, so you can't tell by whom. Once you get awarded the grant money, it has to then go out to bid, so it will be bid out. So a lot of the things that
The
you're
details
asking
of the
for
bid.
are yet to be determined. However, without the funding,
Oh, Tracy said that you could walk it on and get that information to them, and then it could be voted on in 2 weeks, but that'll give them time to get the information if you put it on
Right.
the agenda. But I don't know, that's y'all
Let's
prerogative.
get that.
But that's what Tracy,
But I want us to be prepared to do what we need to do on the 15th.
she said she also sent this to y'all
Okay.
in your
I saw
email.
it.
Okay, and I
Okay.
thank you for working with us, Mayor. Okay, we've got to get these things done, okay? All right, let's move forward.
So what are you
Mr.
doing?
Clerk, give us let's start with the legislation.
Oh, okay, resolution number 48-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Timothy R. Austin under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 12605 Speedway Overlook, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
All right. Any
That's a
questions on
first
that?
read.
This is first read, and I would like, again, we've contacted all, I think we've got 13 pieces of legislation. We've contacted everyone that haven't been on the 15th. We're gonna give them $100, I think they show up, so we can see where they are. So, and most of the people have said they will be here, is that correct, Justin?
Yeah, they all said they'll be here.
Okay, all right, so.
You want to move on then?
Let's
or
move
y'all
on
wanna-
to the next.
Resolution number 70-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Shirley Jackson Duncan under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 1053 Thornhill, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112. That is the same
Thank you. Any
situation.
questions from the council, anything like that? We'll move on. None, let's move on to the
Okay,
next one.
next is resolution number 71-21. A resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Wanda Foster under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program located at 1272 North Lockwood, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Anyone on Ms. Foster, Wanda Foster? Let's move on to the next one.
Next is resolution number 72-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Leona Bailey Pollard under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program located at 1514 East 133rd Street, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Any other, okay, that's okay for the next one.
Next is resolution number 73-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Yasmin Muhammad under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program located at 1600 Hillcrest, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Anyone? Let's move on to the next one.
Next is resolution 74-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Reginald Lampkin under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program located at 1824 Burnett, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Anyone? We move on to the next one.
Resolution
Mr. Clerk.
number, next is resolution number 75-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Pamela D. Davison under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city, a part of its land reutilization program and located at 12717 Phillips, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Thank you. Go to the next one.
Next is resolution number 76-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Brian Grooms and Francine Henderson under the neighborhood next door ordinance and at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city, a part of its land reutilization program located at 14004 Potomac Avenue, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Anyone? Okay, go to the next one.
Next is resolution number 77-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Priscilla Golfin under the neighborhood next door ordinance at a cost of $100, parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 14006 Mont, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Any questions on that one? No, go to the next one.
Next is resolution number 78-21, a resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Arnold F. Sheldon and Myrtle M. Sheldon under the neighborhood next door ordinance and at a cost of $100, a parcel of vacant land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program located at 14607 Orinoco, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Any questions on that one?
I
Okay.
have.
Yes,
I have something.
Ms. Stevenson, go ahead.
All of the land utilization projects seem to violate section 121.22 when it comes to public meetings. These land transactions were made in a non-public meeting according to the state of Ohio. And I believe I brought this to y'all's attention before, effective October 9th, 2021. Everyone is returned to in-person meetings, and in-person voting is the only voting that is allowed. These transactions were conducted on the internet, and according to this law are unacceptable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Hold on one second. I want to respond to Ms. Stevenson. Assistant Law Director, come up for a second. Can you respond to what?
Well, first, I don't
You
know
don't
exactly
know.
when that was done, when was it done?
Last month.
When you're saying that it can't be
No,
done
I'm
by
not.
Zoom, we have to be done in
I'm not
person, right?
saying.
Okay.
121.22 said that all public meetings and voting must be done in person.
That is true.
That's what the law says.
But you
That's not what I'm saying.
talk about NAC now, right? Neighborhood Advisory Committee?
Yes.
Okay.
And the appointment to that committee have yet to be confirmed or shared with this council.
You
I know
and
appointments
NAC.
have been made as to whether or not that information is one thing.
So the appointments have been made, and
To the Neighborhood Advisory Committee.
yes, the appointments have been made, and we had a
Sworn in.
very challenging time filling those seats. If I'm not mistaken, the Ohio government did pass and the government did sign back to virtual.
To what now?
Virtual.
Virtual
No, we
meeting?
did. No, we did not.
Well, let's see if we can get this resolved. Now,
Next is.
I need a legal, I got it,
This is effective October 9th, 2021.
I'm pretty sure that you can, Council President, what we can do, either just first reads,
mhm.
just move on to the next one, we'll have this sorted out. Have a legal
Well,
opinion, if that's what you need.
Right,
According to a legislative update on virtual meetings,
okay,
they're back until July 1st, 2022. This was dated February 17th. As public bodies throughout Ohio are well aware, State's Open Meetings Act requires the members of the public body be present in person to be counted as a part of a quorum and to deliberate, discuss, or vote on any issue considered at the meeting. During the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ohio General Assembly provided a temporary exception to the in-person requirement that allowed public bodies to meet virtually. That exception expired June 30th, 2020. But on February 9th, 2022, the General Assembly reinstituted a
okay,
limited time exception, which again temporarily permits public bodies to meet virtually. This measure was passed on an emergency basis. Governor Mike DeWine signed it into law, making it immediately effective. This means that public bodies may again hold meetings via teleconference, video conference, or any similar electronic technology and still have the meeting considered in person for purposes of the Open Meetings Act. Once again, exception is temporary and will expire July 1st, 2022.
So you're saying, just let's summarize, so everybody get an understanding that the fact that you did this on Zoom is legal.
Yes,
So we can go.
until July. unless-
Until July
Sign something.
2022?
So y'all can meet on Zoom.
Yeah. Okay, so, this is a first read. And there's one reason, I'm gonna recognize it, give me a second. So, we should be ready to vote on this March 15th. Okay, according to what she just read, we can do this, okay? Go ahead, Ms. Rowland.
Okay, so, in both of the two NAC meetings that I have attended virtually, since the beginning of January, I have had issues with the meetings. The first meeting, I did not get the link to the NAC meeting until 15 minutes after it started. And then I had to download something that I hadn't known what to download. So the meeting was not effectively public because there was no 24-hour notice and people didn't get the notice as to when the meeting actually happened. The second meeting, there was also an issue with getting the link. It was not done 24 hours in advance. At that meeting, there were the people who had been there before, but there was another person there who didn't seem to be known by the other members of the NAC. So there were issues with it not being a fully public meeting, both times.
Okay, the NACs are like an advisory board. All they can do is make recommendations to us. This thing comes to us. Now, we got the legal opinion from the attorney. And I think that this is a first read, so we don't do nothing legally on it. But on the 15th, we need to vote on this thing. Does any other council want to say something about this? Mr. Smith, you want to say something? Okay, Guy, you want to say something about this?
I'm just saying, even though it's, we already know that this is a process, they've been waiting on this, not
Right,
a while.
right.
It's been in my committee for a while,
Right.
and we know that we asked them to show up, then we're looking forward to move on, because this been held.
Lloyd, you want to say something else?
Yeah, we need to make sure that all of the meetings are held legally. We don't want any of these people to get their property and somebody comes back and says, the meeting wasn't legal, so they're getting the property isn't legal. We want to make sure that they get their property and it becomes really theirs. If the meeting isn't legal, someone could conceivably come back and ask for that property back. And we don't want that to happen. We want everybody to get what they're given.
Okay. Is it legal?
She's not,
Per what I
No, you
read,
listen,
I would
legal
say it's
opinion.
legal, but additionally, you're having these meetings. It's on the agenda.
Mhm.
The agenda is set out, so isn't the point of having these meetings and first reads and second reads?
Yeah.
To give everybody notice, an opportunity to object if they have one. So you have it now, so if you have a problem with anybody that's on here, someone else has a problem with anything that's going on, they have plenty of time to
Right.
say something.
And
And
that's
if they don't, it's waived.
right. So we got 2 weeks. Because we're gonna vote on this on the 15th. We can vote up or vote it down for all 13 of these people applying for the neighbor next door, get the $100 thing and getting the property next door to them. we're not in a perfect situation. We have our issues. You know, we don't always cross the T's and dot the I's. So, I think if some of this go back to October, I mean, some of this going back, and I think we're going kind of backwards with this kind of stuff. We've been doing this for years. For years, we've been doing this neighbor next door. Okay, right. So here's what my suggestion is, and I'm just one person. That if you're unready, if there's some readiness or something you don't feel comfortable with, check with the legal department or do whatever you have to do. This is the first read. March 15th, we're gonna vote on it. We vote up or vote it down. We've been doing this for so long, it's so standard. This is the first time we got somewhat of an impasse. So I think what we need to do.
Well, Tracy's saying that that's an advisory committee. You don't
Right,
even.
that's what I said, is an advisory committee.
Hold on, she said you don't need them at all. It could just
No,
come
we
straight
don't.
to council.
Right.
So I think for us to move forward, my suggestion is that if you have unreadiness, send it to a legal department if you have a legal question, but I think we're okay. We're not perfect, but we're okay. So I'm recommending, suggesting that we be ready March 15th. If you don't like it, vote it down. Okay, let's move on.
Next is resolution number 84-21 revised. A resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement with, here we go with this name, I think is Ergono Me Home or something like that, .com,
Mhm.
Inc., 14611 Sunny Grove, Houston, Texas, 77070. Arnold Reception Desk, Inc., 120 Coit Street, Irvington, New Jersey, 07111, for the acquisition and installation of updated furnishing for the city council chambers and courtroom in an amount not to exceed $100,255. That's covering the judge's desk also, utilizing the general fund.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that this is 8421 is sponsored by Juanita Gotti. Juanita Gotti, what's your pleasure?
Yes, the courtroom is being remodeled as we see, and we will make it finished with it. And, my pleasure is to move it.
Okay, this is a first read,
This is
so
the
first read,
right.
so you don't,
I just wanted you to say that.
okay. Next
Anyone
is-
else want to say, I know I've been hearing about this for the last few months about, so let's, anyone else want to say something about this particular legislation? Anyone else?
I thought that this was great. Now,
It-
you know,
Mayor Brandon, would you explain what the grant portion of this, please?
The grant portion of this,
Yes.
looking at much of it, and
Mhm.
is the audio visual that we've been talking about for 2 years now. The audio visual is the grant portion of this. The remainder of the bill now will come out of the general fund. To complement the AP, as you can see, it's got pretty nice, pretty excited about peace building moving forward to the next century.
Next,
Val, you want to say something?
Well, I'm just saying, we are getting some things, I see the TVs.
Mhm.
So I'm just looking, I'm ready for us to come upgrade it and move this forward, you know, so we can get the courtroom finished, so we can not look like this.
And I'll say that all these years I've been here, we're gonna get some new for a change. It's expensive. Okay, I struggle with the expense of it, but I said this will last another 200 years. Okay, and it'll be special, it's something new. Sometimes we have to think out the box. Okay, it's not a perfect situation. So I don't have, I think this is something we need to do. Now, that's my opinion, I'm just one person. Okay, but I think that's something we need to do, and I think it's gonna be fantastic. Okay, I'm feeling this connecting with outside there. When the work is done, the new floor, they're gonna paint our office. This whole place is looking 100% better. All these years I've been up here. So I mean, sometimes you just gotta, go for it. That's what I meant. Go ahead, Mr. O'Brien.
Okay.
What year was it that Sandy Walker got the courtroom?
I don't know. That's going back. I was there. That's going back.
Wasn't that about 10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought that was supposed to last a long time too.
Well, I don't know,
Who did the
what,
court
this is a different situation. Anyone else want to speak on this?
Resolution number next is resolution number 9-22. A resolution to approve and accept the City of East Cleveland fiscal year 2022 one-year action plan and authorizing the mayor to submit said plan to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD. And upon HUD's approval, to accept the fiscal year 2022 action plan budget of an estimated amount of $1,123,300 for CDBG 17 and $251,861 for Home 22 and Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Funds from HUD.
Okay, resolution
I think the finance director.
0922 is sponsored by Corinne Stevenson. What is your pleasure, Ms. Stevenson? Okay, look, so how do you feel? We want to say anything about this?
This is the
Okay.
first reason.
Okay,
But it's a 1 year, is this the 1 year action plan, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay, I think I asked for, to say something about the 1 year action plan. Because I don't want people to say, well, we didn't do this, we did that. We have anyone who can say something about the 1 year action plan? I think I want, Mayor Ron?
Yeah, he's on here. So
Okay,
let me
I
let
know
him
we
talk.
can hear him.
Okay, he's ready now.
Okay. Trying to see if we can turn that up.
Okay, he's going. He just needs to talk.
Yeah,
Just give us a basic summary of the 1 year action plan in relation to this legislation.
this is a one-year action plan for us to administer the regular program that we normally do. Going down the budget that I sent out by email yesterday and today for admin to take care of the emergency repair, the paint program, the demolition, street and lights. And the home program is something that we haven't been doing due to COVID, but we're going to pick those things back up this year coming up.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Mayor Ron Leeds on the 1 year action plan? Justin, does everyone have a copy of the 1 year action plan?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I want you to read it. And we're gonna act on it on the 15th. So
Okay.
read it. If you have any questions, Mayor Ron, you open to, I know you would take the questions from us or from our citizens, whatever the case may be. Okay,
Okay, next is resolution 14-22. A resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Justin B. Anderson at a cost of $1,000 a parcel of land held by the city of East Cleveland, a part of its land reutilization program and located at 1865 Roslyn.
okay. It's sponsored by,
It's the first read. It's
First
first read, so.
you wanna say something about it,
Yeah.
Scott? Yeah.
It's the
Okay.
first reading, the sounds specific. Justin Anderson, he's young, and we've got a family that we might want to put him in. We don't know. But I'm just hoping that he'll get that house, because we need house. Every man needs their own house, so.
You sure about that, guy?
Every man.
All right, Mayor, go ahead.
So, Council President and Chair of the Property and Contract, I was looking at these and I thought something was wrong. All of the land bank properties should be requested by the Department of Community Development. So I know this, they cut and paste and put the stuff in, and they may have forgotten to change that. So in 2 weeks, when it comes back, we will make sure that the other land bank properties read requested by the community development and not. Okay?
Yeah.
And he also went through the process.
Well, this one, yeah,
Just to make a note of that.
these two are already says that, but
It's on, you
I
see
think
it?
you
used to have it,
I'm not
Yes,
sure.
but the other ones
Looking at
don't.
the others, I'm like,
Okay.
okay.
You would have to ask Heather if you could make like a motion to change all of those, like if you want, you could do that probably now. and Change
Heather, can we
change
do
it
that?
all of
Yeah,
them.
you could do that.
Yeah, you can do
Okay,
that.
I accept the motion.
So
Come on.
somebody has to make a motion,
Somebody make a
You
motion.
don't have to make no motion to do that.
County.
You just-
Anybody make it.
Okay.
Okay,
Because it's on the
needs a
first-
second.
This on,
It's the first week, so.
So you want to just handle
So
it?
I think to hold on to. it,
Okay.
Make sure we do it on March 15th.
Okay, can do that.
Go to the next
Okay,
one.
next is resolution number. All right, resolution number 18-22. A resolution approving the mayor's amended fiscal recovery plan in accordance with section 118.06 of the Ohio Revised Code for submission to the Financial Planning and Supervision Commission. This is the first read also.
Right, but I asked Charles to come because we've run out of time. It was the end of this month. We gotta pass this. So I'm gonna ask Charles, Mayor, for him to come up and say something about this, please. Thank you for coming. Thank you for having me. Thank you. All right. Okay.
So I'm not sure. This was passed the fiscal recovery plan in January.
Okay.
Last-
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay. I'm not sure if any council, I know I'm talking that down, but.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fiscal commission, mainly the chair, is their concern with the plan that was passed, which is mainly how we want to utilize the ARPA money in terms of the police and fire salary. That was her concern. So after she brought up her concern, we had a meeting and we got more information from the federal government in terms of how we can use the money.
Charles, they want you to speak up a little, please.
Speak up a little louder.
So we got more information from the federal government on how we can use the money. And we was able to utilize $10 million of the money as just revenue loss. So what that basically means in terms of the fiscal recovery plan that was passed by council in January versus this revision that's in front of you is that first plan had reduction of general fund police and fire salaries over $10 million, okay? This plan does not exceed reduction in the police and fire salaries over 10 million. It doesn't go past $10 million. That's the threshold as of right now. And that is the only change that was done to this plan that's before you versus the one that council had passed in January.
Now you have to provide this to the fiscal commission, right? We have to give this to the fiscal commission.
Not just me, the city.
Yeah, the city, right? We're not talking about us.
The city has to present to the fiscal commission a revised fiscal recovery plan. And they were already in agreement in terms of we can utilize the $10 million threshold in reducing our police and fire salary. They already is in agreement of the last meeting we had. So they just want the revised plan to reflect that. And that's what this revised plan does. So even though you have a lot of pages,
Right.
a lot of words, the same words that there was before council that they passed, the council passed in January. So if there's any need to do any digging and research and needing, extended time to review the document, you'll be reviewing something that hopefully you reviewed a month and a half ago in terms of the words and language. So the only change that was, if you would look for, is in the 5-year forecast. If you compare the plan that was passed by council in January of this year, and compare it to the plan that's before you, you'll see that the reduction in police and fire expenditures is less in this plan. I only reduced it by $10 million. Plan that was passed in January was close to $12-13 million reduction. And that's really it.
That's the key thing.
That's the key thing. So also the key thing is the council does not pass or doesn't present a passed plan before the fiscal commission. Schedule, the next meeting is scheduled March 15th.
Mark 15th.
Actually the same
Yeah.
Tuesday.
So we meet.
Right. So you may have to ask the commission to push back the meeting one day to allow council to vote on it. And since the meeting is virtual, I don't think they're necessarily gonna have a problem with that. But if we don't present a fiscal recovery plan adopted by the city council, then fiscal commission has the right to reduce the city's spending to only 85% of what the current appropriation.
Okay. I'm opening up for our council people. Any questions? Start with Corey Stevenson. Go ahead.
Does this plan the budget for city? Does, how do we know, okay, we're taking this reduction of the budget for the city that's usually a part of it, not included here.
It
And
is,
so,
it's included. You say the budget,
the whole,
appropriations for 2022. Forecast line item for forecast 2022. It's the same appropriation. Same budget the city council passed in December of 2021 for 2020, right? And then change that.
okay, but if you reduce the general fund budget by $10 million, let's say in police and fire, then where is the $10 million going to be spent? Which is what I'm asking for in a revised budget. Or is that in there? I don't know, I just got this.
I can't tell you where the mindset, I can't tell you, it's just showing savings. It's not showing where we plan on spending the money in terms of, you have 2022's appropriation, it's telling you what we'll spend in terms of this appropriation. That was what's passed by council. That's where you're spending the money in 2022. The rest of the years are just projections, forecasts. So it's just forecast. I don't know. That's a conversation we all have throughout the year in terms of what we want to spend the money in future years, and projects and things of the nature. So this is a forecast, and the forecast is really doing everything flat. So when I mean flat, I mean I'm saying we're doing is do the same thing we've done in prior years. I'm not projecting doing new projects. I'm projecting doing the same thing throughout the next 4 years. So as time goes on and as we get together, we meet, and we have meetings, we have finance committee meetings, then we can have more conversation about what we'll spend our money on things like that.
Well, my next question is that, as chair of the finance committee, I'm looking at this agenda. The agenda says it's sponsored by Nathaniel Martin. Nathaniel Martin, who's chair of health and safety.
And Nathaniel Martin is a flexible guy. You can take my name up and put your name on it. No big deal with me. So you want to do that?
That's how
Okay.
it should be.
Okay, I'll take it.
Justin, make sure you put Kareem Stevenson, take my name on.
Okay.
So let's continue.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Robert.
So I just want to clarify for everyone who's in the room. that this paperwork, some of it came to me by email about mid-morning. And some of it came onto this desk 15 minutes before the meeting started. So I'm not as up on my questions as I might be if it had been here on Friday, which is what our council says that we expect to have our paperwork for. The other issue is that some of the things that were passed before I was on council. So it seems to me, and I've been saying this for some time, that this should have come before the finance committee with all the paperwork available for 2 days in advance so that we could read it, go over it in detail, and have our questions prepared. As I said, some of this came to us 15 minutes before the meeting started. And frankly, I am not so adept at dealing with finance papers that I think that 15 minutes is an adequate period of time to be ready. And that's especially considering that I have questions that I have been addressing to the finance department since January regarding the December finance report. And the January finance report, which is supposed to be done within 10 days after the end of the month, the January one was completed as of Friday, which is closer to when the February one is due than when that January one is due. So as I'm saying, I will have no questions on this. But frankly, I think that we need a meeting with the finance director present to discuss this amendment plan.
Well, I need to say that I been in contact the last couple of weeks with the finance director. He told me he was working on this. And your points are valid, but everything just don't fit like we wanted to all the time. And I made a note here, and I looked in it says here, to the extent practical, the mayor shall cause copies of all legislation to be transmitted through the clerk of council to council members at least 1 week prior to the public meeting council at which such legislation to be introduced. Well, all the years up here, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't.
Right.
This
And
is,
when it
that's,
doesn't,
okay,
then we
that's
should be
why,
allowed
to
have
the
another
extent
meeting to
practical,
discuss.
but we got 2 weeks, Mr. Blowback. I'm working with you. You got 2 weeks, whatever your readiness is, or whatever you need to know, it can be handled.
Does that mean that you will meet with me?
Yes. Is that all right?
We need to have finance.
Okay, hold on a second.
Sorry.
So yes,
Yes.
we can meet with you. Again, I reiterate and ask that it is in one of the committee meetings, not during the day. Charles is like an automatic reporter. Charles didn't tell you that he's on staff. He got it to you late because he's working on, he has to do vacancy, he has to do vending machine, he has to do toll book, right? So we're all stretched here. So we would ask that, yes, we will have the meetings, let's have them after business hours.
Right, and since you on finance, Mr. Stevenson, when you want to have a meeting, and I'm questioning that all of us, if you have unwrittenness about this, all of us be. Okay, so it's
I'll
on
look
you.
at- I'll look at my calendar.
Okay.
Try to arrange to have a meeting next week.
Okay,
In the meantime. I'll work on this.
okay, and we'll do that. Thank you, thank you. All right, any other questions for our finance director, Charles? Any other questions for him? Anyone?
Well,
Okay, let's move
She was
on.
just saying that if you're going to, for that 2020, 2022, the AARP, if you don't pass that as an emergency, you won't get to have the opportunity to get that grant. So you won't be getting that basketball court done up there, but this is just what was said. So, but this is on council, your decision. If you want to put that to the agenda, you have to suspend the rules. Or if you want to just put it on as an emergency, as an emergency measure. So
Tracy.
that's for the
Okay,
AARP.
so if we meet, sound like Ms. Stevenson wants us to meet next week. If
Okay,
we meet, we should be able to.
so you
get
want to
all
have
that
this
done.
on your finance meeting?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we'll put that on the finance
Justin?
meeting.
I want you to call everybody, to see if they, everybody in there, so you can pick it, let's have them all there, if they haven't any readiness. Yes, Mr. Smith, go ahead, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
I very well understand, under and overstand everything that I've heard tonight, everyone has the right. Once again, to do what they see fit while sitting on this council. As I read over ordinance number 20-22, with my understanding, I understand that we might have received this a few hours ago, but with my, also with my understanding that we have a whole 2 weeks to
Yes.
go over things, and with my understanding and with tearing my eye, this is for our elders, for our senior citizens. So this is why I thank our great clerk, Madam Tracy. She beat me to the punch. I actually have it right here on my notes
Okay,
that I plan to, if you don't mind, Mr. President.
go ahead,
I'd like
Mr.
to,
Smith, go ahead.
it just, whatever happens, happens. I'd like to make a motion to suspend Rule 9, order of business, to add ordinance number 20-22 to tonight's agenda. I'm available if we need any, if we have to have a committee meeting every day to go over this for our seniors, I will make myself available, but just to walk out here tonight without this at least being,
So there's a motion on the floor.
Okay, well, you got a second to that motion, sir? You need a second?
Second.
I'll give you a second.
It's been seconded by Counselor Martin. So now we're gonna call for the roll. Counselor Stevenson,
Nay.
Counselor Bahoviac, Counselor Smith,
yeah,
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Gowdy.
Yeah.
The motion is passed. It has been added to the Rule 9 has been suspended, and this has been added to the agenda. Now I'm going to read this legislation. Ordinance. Okay, yeah, let's pass a motion to add. Now you need
another motion
to add this to the
to
agenda.
the
So
agenda.
Rule 9 has been suspended. Sorry.
Okay, Gowdy's, go ahead, make the
I would like
motion.
to make a motion to add.
And she needs a second, I'll second.
Ordinance number 20-22 has a motion by Gowdy to add to the agenda. It's been seconded by Counselor Martin. Counselor Blahoviac,
You still need to come
Okay.
that way, come on.
okay, Counselor Blahoviac,
Come on.
no, okay.
No, well, he's learning, he's new, come on, he's new, give him a break. He's new, he hasn't been here a couple of months, he's new, so you can't keep telling him now. I don't like that, I don't like that. Well, go ahead, I don't like it.
Counselor Stevenson. You're voting to add this to the
To the
agenda
agenda.
for today, to the agenda for today.
Are we gonna have to go
That was the
back
first
and
read.
dis-
It's a
First,
first
we're
read.
gonna have to go back and discuss it. No, we don't.
We,
No,
Yes,
okay, it's,
yes, but if we don't have to go back and discuss it.
no, we don't have to discuss. it.
okay, she said no. So your Counselor Stevenson votes yes to add this to the agenda for today.
Right.
Counselor Martin,
Yay,
Counselor Smith,
Yeah.
Counselor Gowdy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Did
there's
you- did
4
you vote
yeses.
that?
Yeah, she said no.
No,
no,
I did not.
what was you saying?
What I was saying was that it's not the procedure.
Okay,
And he needs to
So-
look at the procedure.
okay,
like
what is your
we
vote,
did
Ms.
before.
Rollback? That's what I need, what is your vote?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
there's all yeses to add it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, ordinance
Okay.
number 20-22 has been added to the agenda,
Okay.
and I'm gonna read it. This is the first read. An
Okay.
ordinance to authorize the mayor to apply for a 2022 AARP Community Permanent or Temporary Improvement Grant in order to create a Superior Hill outdoor sports court for the public health and welfare. This is Sponsored by Nathaniel Martin and.
Is this a finance situation? Maybe she was sponsored by,
You want to sponsor this? Miss
Let us
Stevenson?
sponsor.
Okay,
I'm all right with that.
it's sponsored by Ms. Stevenson as a first read.
Okay.
Mr. Clerk, I like the co-sponsor.
And I would
Okay.
too.
Okay,
You put me down there too.
okay,
All right. Thank you.
okay, I get it. Oh,
Okay, is that it for the legislation?
Yeah, that's
Mr.
it.
Clerk?
Next, we're going
Yes, we're going to,
on Mark. to the
remark
public.
the request of the public, 3 minutes. Anybody from the public? Going once. Anybody from the public? Oh, come on, Mr. Holmes. You got your new hat on and everything.
Yeah, well, I haven't been here in quite a while.
Good to see you.
There's a million things I want to say. First thing, I guess I start off with the money that is spent on these bills. Now, from my understanding, you're gonna build a new service department or less. And you're redoing this, and I see you stairways and all this. Now, to me, I believe, well, it's over now, so y'all already committed. But would it have been better just build a new building with all the stuff combined with the parking area and everything? I mean, I don't know, have anybody did any research? We all sitting up, you have to do research to find out what causes are. And you're not gonna get something up. And we can get something to be passed on when we all gone. How many cities, a small city like ours, is still operating in an old building like this, and built like this? Everything being modernized. People want new houses, new cars and all that stuff. But this is what we got. We got y'all up here to represent it. If y'all represent this way, we ain't got nothing coming. You know, the only reason why I came up here, and I think I had a problem with the mayor about the private area. And I would like, if there was a person up there where I live at, decide to sell that property, I think it should be put on the deed, whoever buys, have to abide by the rules that we have, because it's private property. The city ain't got nothing to do with that. Doing the work and all that stuff. Like they had problems with people about putting lights and stuff up there. The city can't do that. Well, it can do. If you want somebody talking and say, hey, you want the money to do it with, but you can't take the city money and do it. I mean, I did a little research. I have a little brain. I ain't got too much, but there's a little. You know, and these things just don't happen. Now, also, I don't know who's in charge, but I'm told that you all do not put out with y'all legislation and stuff. I heard y'all just talking about that. 5 minutes or whatever before the meeting. And the same day, instead of giving it to the people, is there any? You know, anybody up here? I don't know who in charge of it, but there's anybody up here that's in charge of it can say it should be given in a week or 2 weeks prior to that, so people can study it and understand what it's going on. You give me some 5 minutes, I can't even read that book. And you do no research on it. See, these are problems that y'all have. Giving people the time to do research and find out what the heck is going on. But if y'all don't do that, what you gonna get? Nothing. So you know, just tell me that somehow, just like I told the man, and I tell him again, somebody don't know how to do this job. Because the law is for everybody. That's why you got 3 branches of government. And you all is
Wrap it up, Mr. Holmes, wrap it up.
Y'all is the most powerful one, legislative. You know, discipline branches to make sure that what y'all pass, they do. All of us have to shoot by the law. But some of it, we not. So I don't know what to say. I'm through.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Ms. O'Mays? Put your time on, Justin.
Oh, it is. It's on. Are we starting now?
I'm gonna start with the left.
Can you hear him? We can't hear you. Feel sound muffled. Yes. Thank you.
I'm trying to. Number one. Legislation come before council. Is to be considered by council. If they have some problem with it, they will have to pass it and send it back. Number two. Dealing with property. Doesn't matter what the commission or whoever said granted the property. You have the last say, the first and the last say in reference to the property. And whether you accept what he recommended, and I have to agree with Mayor King this time, in writing that legislation, it should be stipulated to the community development. Okay? But it does not have to, you can pass the legislation, whomever, but all of those individuals should have came before you. And then for you to change, bring other, discuss something not before you, you are totally out of order. That's illegal. You can't discuss something that's not before you and was not posted. I don't care who says it, that's out of order. It must come before you. You must pass the rule to wait the 24 hours to consider it. Because it was not on the agenda. And so don't let them get you in trouble here. And that's why people have gone to jail of what? Over contracts and property. And there has been council, there has been mayors, there has been what have you. So I'm just saying, in reference to something else, there was only one, what I did, he found the addresses on the property. Some of the properties did not have address on it. And that's the, I believe, the first one. I'm not gonna call the name, does not have address. It should have address where the property is located, etc. And if not, that's whomever wrote this legislation apparently does not know how to write legislation. And there are many problems I have here. So grants, it should come before council. And you have stipulations with it. You do not have to, you are the authorizing agency here. You authorize whatever, I hope, get the grant, but it must be correct. And I agree with you there, and you ask questions, because some of you just sit here, just yay, yay, yay on everything, no question. And that gets yourself in trouble. So continue to ask questions, whether people don't like it or not. And I'm a witness to that. Because I was standing alone on this council. I've been on this council, served for over 10 years on this council. And when all of this stuff came down the pipe, I was standing on the sideline by myself, because everybody else was involved. So continue to ask questions, whether they like it or not. That's what you're here for. You represent the city, and you represent people of the city, and you serve at the behest of the people. So don't ever forget that. And And council have norms too. That's 5 minutes to speak and to speak on any subject. No, that's what the time
Yeah,
says.
okay, please.
No, you don't like
Please,
that. When
right.
somebody
Okay,
check.
Remark from the mayor.
Wait, Nate, let me see if there's somebody, excuse me, I
Oh,
want
yeah,
to see
somebody
if there's
okay.
somebody on here. It's a bunch of people on here. Anybody on Zoom? I don't want them to say that we, didn't let them speak. Anybody on Zoom? Got any questions? Okay, you should be good.
She got, someone else on Zoom say something, no?
You're fine. No, it was just a lot. I wanted to
Okay.
make sure.
Mayor, go ahead.
Council President, our community development director, Mr. Beach is here, in other words, some concerns.
Okay.
So just wanted to see if you wanted to see if there are any questions.
No, what I want from this body, they have some readiness, they have to, they got questions, they got 2 weeks there. So when we come back here on the 15th, we either gonna vote up or vote it down, okay? That's what I want. So I'm saying to these elected officials, special people, that if you have questions, call Charles or call Mayor Ryan or call the mayor. But when we come back here on the 15th, be ready to vote. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I'd like to thank council individually and as a whole for your flexibility. Council President is correct. We do know policy and procedure that things are to happen. However, we do know that there are allowances to afford us the opportunity to bring in resources to the city, to provide better quality of life for our residents and our businesses. So there are exceptions that will allow us to get around those strict policy and procedures. I'd like to thank council for the flexibility in that, as we look to keep increasing the quality of life for our residents of the city. Unless there are any questions or concerns, thank everyone again for coming out. Thanks, council, for flexibility.
Thank
Love
you.
this AARP.
Thank you. Corinne Stevens.
I would like to have to look at my calendar, but I would like to plan a finance committee meeting for Tuesday. That is going to be on. And I think, it'll be between 5:30 and 6:30.
Okay.
So, you
Mark
talking
your
about,
calendar.
what Tuesday you talking about? Ms. Stevens?
It's coming Tuesday.
Okay, we'll beat this come Tuesday. Now it's the 15th.
No, I just need to have a finance committee meeting on that day. I would confirm.
Okay, thank you. You got that, Justin?
Yeah.
Just have the phone up here. So I can do it.
Thank you. Dr. Blovier?
Well, I've already talked about the meeting that we had. I would like to say that flexibility is often virtue. But if you have laws that you're supposed to be following, then flexibility in not following the law is not a virtue. And our meetings, whether they're virtual or in person, they are to be announced to the public. We had a public meeting, so-called, for the use of our community development block grant funds. And I found the time of it because I happened to be looking at the city's website and it was announced there. I sent out emails, and the people I sent the emails out to said that they hadn't heard before. And we had trouble getting the link. We didn't get it until the day of the meeting. And that is not a legal meeting. And it jeopardizes our heart funds. And therefore, as I said, there's a time for flexibility, but one cannot be flexible regarding the sunshine laws. We must comply with Sunshine Law. People have had lots of problems when they didn't comply with the sunshine laws. I would like to suggest strongly that we be much more careful to make sure that all of our meetings, whether they're council meetings, whether they're committee meetings, whether they're neighborhood advisory committee meetings, whether they're, no matter what kind of meetings they are, if they're a meeting that relates to the city, we must comply with the sunshine laws. Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Smith?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to my colleagues, members of the administration, our great clerk. Most importantly, I want to thank you all, our neighbors, great residents of the great city of East Cleveland, for joining us tonight. I want to thank everyone on Zoom, taking time out to check on your health, interests, rights, and needs. Really appreciate you. Every meeting is very, very important, including the committee meetings, as I do each and every meeting. I beg of you, please join us at the committee meetings. That's where we discuss a lot of this legislation, and affords some of us to be able to come to the regular council meeting without having to continuously repeat things. With that being said, thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, Mr. Cook.
That's all right. That's all right. You all right? Okay, well, you got it. Go ahead.
Thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight, and we want to thank each and every one that moved this out of the committee for the first reading. Moving it on to agenda, hopefully that we get some things done that we should not need to be done now. And as far as trying to get a new building, we need to work on the new building. It's for the rest until we can afford it. Money is on the side.
All right, Speaker, I'll be very brief. What I've seen in this building, after many years I've been here, is fantastic. In the next month or two, you're not gonna recognize it. It looks nice. Once they put the floor in and finish the paint, we're getting off the paint, it's gonna be fantastic. We cannot afford a new building. We don't have the money. If we had the money, we would love to have that. We're gonna make that special. And hopefully we will have a brand new table up here, Brandon King. That's gonna be off the hook. You hear me? It's gonna be off the hook. So we're trying. Last night, the mayor, Linda Kyle, Dr. Patricia Blahovec, they talked about us working together. You know what they told us, Linda? If we have disagreements, work it out. But don't do it publicly. Don't do it to the plan. Don't do that. They jump on the negative stuff when it comes to us. We are unique because we're Black, because we're African American. We're going to turn this thing around. The leadership we're getting from Brandon, the leadership we're getting from the country, we're going to turn this thing around. When you walk in this beautiful building in the next month or two, you're going to say, is that East Cleveland? Yeah! It is. Thank you. Okay, there's a motion. Second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you, guys.